Welcome to today's highlights of day 3 as England take on New Zealand in this second test of the 3-test series. New Zealand, after the first 2 days, look to be taking control of this second test. Can England wrestle the momentum back? Let's get straight into the action and see how both teams got on. Jamieson with the first ball of the day, Cox on strike, 2 slips and a gully. Line just outside the off stump. Cox watches that ball go all the way through to the New Zealand keeper Blundell. England 222 for 6, trailing New Zealand by 169. You know, I was thinking about the state of play last night. I get the feeling that this pair needs to put on at least 50. And if England can get another 100 on the board, it'll give them a chance in this game. New Zealand, though, they're going to start the second innings with about, I think, 120-run lead. Then England, they're going to be up against it. And perhaps their only saving grace could be the English weather. We'll see, though. Henry into Cox. A fuller length straight delivery. Cox clips that off his pads through mid-wicket. But he can't find the gap. Latham dive into his right with a good catch. And Cox has got to go. He's made 27 from 50 forward deliveries, so a decent effort for him, but England now 235 for 7 and bang in trouble, I would say. Fisher, the next batsman in on debut for England. I bet his heart is racing. We'll see how he gets on. Blundell continues standing up to the stumps for Henry. Archer on strike. Henry runs in, just short of a length outside off stump. A bit of movement away from Archer, who wafts his bat trying to follow the ball and can only find the edge. Blundell with a great take standing up to the stumps for Henry, because that was a big edge, and Henry now has impressive figures of 4 for 62. It was the movement in the air and off the seam that did for Archer. In hindsight, which I know is a wonderful thing, Archer could have left that delivery well alone. England struggling now, and I wouldn't be shocked to see New Zealand batting before lunch with a healthy lead. Tong is the next batsman in, and then only Baker to come. Neither of them are handy with the bat. I'll be shocked if England put another 20 runs on the board before this first innings comes to an end. Final ball of the over from Henry. Blundell still standing up to the stumps. Henry with a bullish length on middle stump. Tong tries to clip that through mid-on. It came off the bottom of his bat, and Smith running backwards with a good stop. In fact, he's caught it. Smith parried that ball upwards, and as he's falling backwards, he got a second attempt at it just before it hit the floor. And a great catch, and a forlorn-looking Tong, he's got to go for 1. Henry now has 5-4. And Baker coming into bat with a first-class average of 4. I think I was way too optimistic hoping the England tail could add 20 runs. And England still trail by 153. Great catch that by Smith, just parrying it up. I thought at first it was just a good stop. But the fact that he managed to get it one-handed as well, top fielding from the New Zealand bowler. England in trouble. Well, it's quite clear that Fisher is going to play some shots. A lot of one day coming into his style. Henry runs in, 1 slip and a scattered field. Fisher clips that down to third man for a single. Well, they're going to come back for the second, and that's surely going to be a run out. Oh my word! They've got away with it. The throw came into Blundell, and Fisher, he was well out of his crease, but Blundell couldn't take it in cleanly, and England have got away with one there. England move on to 243 for 9, and we're just seeing a replay now, and that second run, it was never on. Only the fact that the ball came into Blundell on sort of the half volley, and he couldn't take it cleanly, saved Fisher there. They all count though, and England will take any bit of luck they can at the minute. Henry into Fisher. Straight delivery, Fisher just pushes that into a big gap on the offside. Easy run for the single, and that'll be the 250 on the board for England. Fisher will move on to 14, but it's going to be Baker to face Henry. And with 5 balls left of this over, it could end up being the last over of the innings. Well, Baker survives the over, just. So, well done to him. It will be Fisher on strike at the start of the 72nd over. England still 250 for 9, trailing New Zealand by 141. O'Rourke into Fisher. A straightish delivery, and Fisher just flat bats that over the mid-wicket area into a huge gap. They'll come back for the second, and that means England have put on the 20 runs that I was hoping the tail could add. Didn't look likely at one point, but Baker's still on 0. He's survived 12 deliveries so far. He's doing a good job supporting Fisher, who now moves on to 21. England 258 for 9. O'Rourke's getting a little bit frustrated now with Fisher. He runs in, bowls a short delivery from around the wicket, and that's hit Fisher right in the grill. Good job he had a helmet on. That is a vicious delivery and too good for Fisher. In the olden days, there would have been a face full of leather and a right mess had it not been for the helmet. He's doing well though, is Fisher. As the medical staff, they're going to come on now. He looks okay, but they've got to follow the protocol, so we'll just have a short delay. Baker still to get off the mark, but doing a good job. Fisher on 21. O'Rourke's frustrated. England 258 for 9. Baker, he survived the first 3 balls of this Smith over, Smith runs in. Baker gets a thick outside edge. The ball beats the slip cordon and races away to the boundary for 4 valuable runs. That's Baker's first runs in Test cricket for England. The fact they came off a thick outside edge, it won't matter one bit to that charismatic young man. He even had the nerve to hold the pause after that shot, a thick outside edge. Baker moves on to 4. He's doing a good job. Henry into Fisher, who's none the worse for that banging the grill earlier on. Pitched up on leg stump. Fisher takes a movement towards leg and gets a thick inside edge. That ball races away through square leg to the boundary, and that will be a maiden Test half-century for Fisher. He's batted really well. He's had a couple of bits of luck, but that's the game. England 291 for 9. Fisher will no doubt be thanking Baker because he's done well to hang around at the non-striker's end. He's faced 30 deliveries. But kudos to Fisher. Vital runs for England these. And England now trail by just 100 runs. Final ball of this 84th over. Jamieson into Baker. Baker with a defensive push forward. Thick outside edge. Taken at second slip by Latham. And Baker goes for 4. England all out for 291. Trailing New Zealand by 100. And Jamieson finally gets a wicket and ends with figures of 1 for 78. Fisher ends the innings not out on 50. Great effort. That'll be the end of an eventful morning session at the Oval. The players are going to have lunch before New Zealand begin their second innings. So stay tuned for the afternoon session. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Just a few seconds to go, well, a few minutes before this New Zealand first innings begins after lunch, and it's so warm in the studio. Finally, I keep looking at this. I've been looking at it for ages, and all I had to do was plug it in. I don't know why I didn't do it, but I finally got my fan on. So maybe it'll stop looking like my blood pressure's rising when it's actually just the heat. I'm hoping England are going to have a good afternoon session. We'll find out shortly, so stay tuned. Archer gets us underway, lay them on strike. Full length delivery, half volley off his pads really to the leg side. It'll be 2 to start this second innings for New Zealand. End of that first over from Archer, and straight away New Zealand looking like they're going to take the attack to the England bowlers. Anything offline, anything short, they're going to go after. They're not hanging around, they're feeling confident. England bowlers, they're going to have to knuckle down. Fisher with a good first over there, just one run from it. He'll still be on a high from getting his first maiden Test 50. It's going to be Archer to continue. Latham on strike. Still 2 slips, a gully. Tempts him into one outside off stump, then he just pushes at it. Latham, he's got the edge and it's gone through to Roo. New Zealand 8 for 1. So that early confident start may ebb away a little bit. Lovely delivery from Archer. Just short of a length. Had to play at it, did Latham, and ended up a little bit of movement away off the seam, which saw him pushing at it, and that edge straight through to Roo, the wicket keeper. England back in this game. Archer 1 for 7 now. Next batsman in for New Zealand, Nicholls. 8 overs gone. It's going to be Tong into the attack. Conway on strike. A little bit of width outside the off stump. He's followed that and went further after it, and he's gone. Conway's been caught at second slip by, I think that's Harry Brook. There was a little bit of width outside the off stump there. Conway was going, he looked like he was thinking about a drive. Then he kind of didn't. And as the ball moved away from him, he had a little push at the last moment. Caught the thick outside edge, and a good take by Harry Brook. New Zealand 28 for 2. Straight away Tong into the attack. Straight away Tong gets a vital wicket. They were just starting to move along quite nicely after Latham was out earlier, New Zealand. This could just peg them back. Next batsman in for New Zealand will be Ravindra. He's having a bit of a, in the first test as well, he's having a bit of a shocker. Shocker in the field, that is for sure. And he's not doing too much better with the bat. So he's going to be feeling the pressure. Tong running into Ravindra. Just one slip in place, quite wide, almost at second slip. And a gully. Ravindra on 7. Outside edge, taken back. He's dropped it. Oh my word. Well, what has gone on there? Let's start with the drop. There was an outside edge and Roo diving to his left. I thought he'd taken it. He got his hand on it. But it's squirmed out. Was it as he hit the floor? No, it came off the bottom of his hand. Did well to stop it really, because he got to where first slip would have been. But Ravindra was out of his crease. Quick thinking by Harry Brook. Throws at the stumps. He just gets his bat down in time. He was daydreaming there, looking back Ravindra to see if Roo had actually taken the catch. Harry Brook, quick as a flash, realised he was outside of his crease. Shied at the stumps, hit the stumps, and Ravindra just got his bat down in time. He's away with the furries at times, Ravindra. Lucky to get away with that one. Roo will be disappointed he didn't take it, but it was a difficult chance. New Zealand is down 48 for 2. Tong into Ravindra once more. Bowls a straightish delivery. He's clipped that through mid-on, and it's going to race away to the boundary for 4. I don't think he'll be too bothered about that, Tong, because it was in the air. And it wasn't a catching chance, but not convincing from Ravindra at all. However, 4 added to the score. That's a 50 up for New Zealand. They move on to 52 for 2. Since Roo dropped Ravindra, he's been going along quite nicely. He's on 27 at the moment. Root's bowling himself, just trying to change things up, but he's gone for 9 so far this over. And I think sometimes if you're a batsman and you're out of form or luck's against you, I think Ravindra's just out of form with the bat and in the field. Maybe that let off when Roo's dropped him is just the catalyst he needs to kind of get a little bit of confidence back, and a good innings and just them little things that go your way can change your entire career in some cases, but your entire outlook. And he's going along nicely at the moment. 27 from 44 deliveries. New Zealand 81 for 2. They've got that 100 lead though from the first innings, haven't they? So in theory, 181 for 2, that sounds a lot better, doesn't it? And regardless of what happens with the rest of the batting now for New Zealand, England are going to be chasing a target. Got the work cut out, England. They're going to have to book their ideas up. I don't think the weather's going to come and save them either. Ravindra on strike, final ball before tea. Baker runs in. Solid forward defensive shot. The referee. The umpire calls over, takes the bails off, and I think overall New Zealand have had the better of that afternoon session. 94 for 2, 100 run lead as well from the first innings. They'll be quite happy. Nicholls on 39, Ravindra on 35 after Rue dropped him. I think he was on, what was he on, 7, 8, something like that. He's making England pay. Join us after tea and see who has the better of the last session. Like I've said though, England are going to be up against it in this test now, regardless of what happens with the rest of New Zealand's innings. Welcome back to this evening session. It's going to be Fisher to get us underway. Nicholls on strike, one slip, a gully, and Rue's up to the stumps. Interesting. Just outside off stump, forward defensive shot there from Nicholls. New Zealand 94 for 2. Vital session this. More so for England, I would say, than New Zealand. They're going along quite nicely. England need wickets and they need them fast. Archer to start this 27th over. Nicholls on strike. Archer running in. One slip, a gully and a leg slip. Shortish delivery. He's pulled that. He's got a glove on it. And Rue, oh my word, it's just evaded his diving right hand. Got away with one there, did Nicholls and New Zealand. And that takes New Zealand on to 101 for 2. It kind of got a little bit big on him there, Nicholls, that bouncer. And the pull shot, it definitely came off his glove. It did. And then Rue, so unlucky, his hand kind of went past the ball. Either way, 4 added to the score and Nicholls is still there. Fisher into Nicholls, he sits on 47. Full length delivery, a bit of width, pushed through point. That's going to race away to the boundary. New Zealand will move on to 110 for 2. Nicholls moves on to 51, half century for him. Just from 72 deliveries. And as that ball comes back in from the boundary, almost takes his head off. Not very friendly that from the England players. New Zealand going along nicely. Ravindra on strike, Tong runs in. One slip, one gully. A little bit of width outside the off stump. Ravindra kind of strides into that one. It got a little bit higher on him. He takes his hand off the bat, but he got enough on that. It's raced away to the boundary, backward point. Nobody there, really. He moves on to 53. That to go with his... What did he get in the first innings? 33 in his first innings as well. So, doing a lot better in this second test is Ravindra. Still dropped one though, didn't he? And he's only here because he was dropped when he was on, I forgot now, 7 or 8 was it, by Rue. But he's made the most of it, so well done to him. And New Zealand 142 for 2. Well, Nicholls has recovered after getting wrapped on the fingers. Tong runs in. Bit of movement down leg side. I think there's some bat involved there, and it's gone all the way along the ground to the boundary for 4. 4 leg byes. So it matters not. New Zealand 151 for 2, now leading by 251. Into Ravindra. Full length delivery just outside off stump. Sweeps that, misses it, hits the pads, appeal for LBW. The finger goes up. It looked pretty good to me as well. It looked pretty good. Well, Ravindra's had a word with Nicholls. He's going to send it upstairs. So we'll see what the third umpire says. I think he's going to be struggling though. Well, there's no bat involved. Ultra Edge has proved that. There's no glove. So it's just going to be down to ball tracking now. First impact is the pad. Pitching outside off, impact, umpire's call, hitting the wickets, original decision out, review retained, but Ravindra, he's got to go. New Zealand 189 for 3 now, and on 76, Ravindra, he's on his way back to the pavilion. England needed that wicket desperately. Now it's going to be Daryl Mitchell to come out. What can he do? We're going to find out. Bethel into Mitchell. Rocks back, cut that in front of backward point. They'll come back for the second, and that'll be New Zealand 201 for 3. A lead of 301. England need wickets and they aren't getting them, and to be honest, they don't look like taking wickets. New Zealand well and truly on top. Bethel into Nicholls. Rank long hop, he just rocks back and sweeps that over to the leg side, races away to the boundary for 4. Nicholls moves on to 102, New Zealand 206 for 3, and that's to go with his, what did he get in the first innings? 24. Really, New Zealand, they're starting to take the England bowlers to the woodshed now. If you've ever seen the old film, The Battle of Britain, when the Spitfires see all of the German bombers with no fighter escort, and the group captain says, help yourself, boys. No fighter escort. That's what it's like for the New Zealand batsmen. Just helping themselves. Not good enough from England. Not good enough at all. That century for Nicholls came 102 runs, 136 balls, 14 fours. It's been pretty controlled as well. He's not really been in any trouble. Take note, England. Take note. 2 balls left before the close of play today. Bethel into Nicholls. Slip in place. Bit of width. Kind of a thick outside edge. That's going to race away down to third man. Nobody down there. 252 up now for New Zealand. Nicholls 119, Mitchell on 32. And to be honest, the New Zealand batsmen, they've taken the England bowlers to the woodshed in this session after the tea interval. They've definitely had the better of this final session of the day. Final ball coming up. Bethel in. Forward defensive there from Nicholls. Pushes it straight back to Bethel. That'll be the close of play. Well, definitely New Zealand's day. I'll do my summary in a minute when I've had a moment to think about it. So now I've had a couple of moments to think about today's action and where this test match is standing. I'm still not 100% sure whether England have played poorly and New Zealand have taken advantage of it, or whether England have played relatively well considering all of the changes and New Zealand have upped their game since we saw them last time out at Lord's. I think it's a little bit of both, but one thing is for sure, New Zealand are definitely on top now. 252 for 3. With the first innings lead, that's 352 for 3. The batsmen are looking in fine form. England are looking a little bit jaded at the end of today, if I'm honest. So regardless of what happens in that first session tomorrow, you could see New Zealand put in 550, 600 for England to chase. Maybe 600's a stretch, but the way they're going, I wouldn't put it past them. The weather's not going to save England, so we're in for 2 fascinating days of Test cricket. Don't forget to join me tomorrow evening for the highlight show of day 4. I am Jimmy James and you've been watching Catch It Live Sport. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, and if you can give the video a thumbs up, it just lets YouTube know that you like the content, and it's good for the algorithm apparently. What a long day again. Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. If I don't see you before, have a great weekend, but try and catch them highlights. And if you leave a comment, I will reply to it. That's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Bye.